Hello and welcome to the show. We are back on BeamNG Drive by popular demand as you guys wanted to see more vehicles being thrown down a ski ramp. So that's what we're going to do. There's a new car to play around with, which is very cool. This is the Bluebuck, and I've gone for the Lowrider spec because we have hydraulics to play around with. Kind of curious to see if this is going to be good for survival or not. We might try, if we go, hold down O, so that puts the car up as high as possible. I'm going to try sending it down with the suspension all the way up, and then with the suspension all the way down. See if it's any different. The aim of this series is quite simple, if you didn't watch the first part. Basically, I'm going to release the handbrake on cars at the top of this ski ramp, let gravity do its work, bringing them down towards the jump, and the vehicles have to try and survive the landing and still be drivable. They have to accelerate under their own power and be able to steer well enough to make a couple of corners. I'm not allowed to brake while we are going down the hill. However, I am allowed to brake while we are in the air if I feel it might help try and sort out the vehicle's positioning. I don't think it would have mattered. I don't think it would have mattered for this particular car. It's lost an engine, 2 wheels, not a drive shaft, curiously. Safe to say that's dead. The last classic car that went down here was the Burnside, and that was very much okay with the ski jump. That survived on its first time. The vehicles are given 3 attempts down here. We will try... So we're going to go with the suspension all the way down. I might... I don't know whether I want to just to spam through the gears or put it in drive and try and spin the wheels up. Again, you can have a tiny modicum of in-air control with the vehicles, but it isn't very much. We'll see what it goes like. So it's going to scrape the floor down there. Yeah, okay. Oh, nope, it's not going to go up. Although, it didn't have to. Now, the fuel tank is ruptured. The brakes are gone. However... Oh, the steering's had it. The car is still technically alive. I've got to try and do this very, very quickly. Now, folks did point out, and I am aware, if you press F7, you can reset vehicles with their current level of damage. The problem is that also resets their respawn point, and all of my cars are set to be respawning at the top of the hill for the start line. We are going to lose all the fuel before I think I get a chance to find out if this will drive. We are got to kind of chuck the car about a little bit. I know it's not ideal. Oh, if I could just get you out of the sand. I thought I'd got you far enough. I think the steering's knackered anyway, so I think it would fail by virtue of no steering. Yeah. If we can lift up the suspension... Oh, no! Does it have steering? Can I... No, it has now run out of petrol. We didn't have them. You can see on the little telemetry thing there. I am wiggling the steering. The engine survived. Interesting. The engine and driveline survived. The steering, that did not. I actually see it moving in there. Bits of it survived, but where it connects to the actual wheels, that's what snapped, and therefore we don't work. That is also a disabled car. Right, how on earth are we going to survive this? Grabbing on the brakes and trying to go nose over isn't really going to be a good idea, I don't think. And the best bet might be... maybe if I try and steer... Okay, I have a plan. It's a dumb plan. It might just be about the only thing that works for the car here. If we leave this, steer that way. I'm just trying to get it to twist so it lands on something other than... Oh! Like that. That is perfect. If we can stop. Stop. Please stop. Okay. So there was a lot of twisting involved in that. If we lift this up, we have a working wheel! Okay, only the radiator went. Fuel tank's fine. One wheel is quite not fine. Quite unconnected to the steering. Can I turn left? I can! A little bit of sneaky positioning. And the Lowrider... I'm not going to say it's okay. It's quite clearly not okay. But basically, I think the way to get these cars to survive is you have to sacrifice a front corner. And if you can get the car to sacrifice a front corner, but only that corner, the engine can survive and one wheel can still steer, you might be alright. I mean, this is helped by the hydraulics, I'm not going to lie, because I can now lift it up and drive away like this. I did not think we would see this survive in 3 attempts after that first one. That first one was really bad. The second one, oh, I might not quite make that turn, though. I can... I have to do a little bit of shuffling. That's fine. It's so broken, it shouldn't really have lived, but it did. That's impressive. That's very impressive, and not what I expected to see. But the new Lowrider survives the jump. The definition of survive might vary from person to person. It's still working and steering. It's something, at least. Well, last time out, when a police car went down the ramp, it actually survived pretty well. The 200BX did not have too many... I mean, it disintegrated, but it still drove when it got to the bottom, basically. So, the Bowlight here might be okay. These are pretty strong vehicles, and they do have the engine, well, in the middle, which is quite advantageous for this sort of thing. There's a lot of squashing room at the front in this car for absorbing of damage. I wouldn't be surprised to see this car survive. I know it shouldn't survive a ski jump, 143 miles an hour. Oh, that's quite a lot of a flip there that I didn't want. That is a very big flip that I did not want. The exhaust is damaged. The bigger concern is the fuel tank is ruptured. I think that's going to be okay. I'm surprised to see it fly in that manner. We're going to go for a little bit more of a flight. I've got to try and do this quite rapidly because of the... Oh, I hate doing this stuff. Because of the fuel tank leaking. It's not... yeah, it will probably run out of fuel before I can get it out of the gravel and the right way up. Whoop, and come on, over we go. Right. Do we still... I will give it as a car working... yeah, it's still working. We've got to make this corner, got to make the next corner quickly before the fuel tank runs out. Actually, it drives straight almost. I've done 75 miles an hour in a car that's just clattered off a ski jump. Yeah, it's fine. It might even make it to the petrol station. Quickly! Come on, we can do it. We can do it. I mean, if it conks out on the way... Oh, it's conked out there. No, roll. Just put you back into neutral. I'll let you coast into the petrol station. It's all good! We made it! No problems! Ignore the fact that the headrests are the highest point on the vehicle. That's quite ridiculous, really. That is quite ridiculous that vehicle drove away from that, and it wasn't even like badly driving. That is the healthiest in terms of physical drivability of a car we've seen. Visually, there are some issues, and I wouldn't want to be in it. But drivability-wise, that is surprisingly... Turns out police cars are the ones you want if you're going to be jumping off a ski jump. So far, we have had 2 vehicles and 2 survivals. Just about. The ETK I-Series is going to have a try next. Now, of the ETKs, this one is probably the most likely to be able to survive it. The more modern cars have a tendency to lose wheels, pretty much. This is a pretty strong car, and if we can get a similar thing going that we had with the Bowlight, if it can land on its roof, I'm kind of okay with that. Because it just takes all the impact on the roof. If you were in the car, you wouldn't want that. Can I get... Okay, now we're just going to go nose first. we got to go... Oh, side impact. Oh, that was a little too much of a side impact there. The engine will be okay. However, not only do I... Oh, I do actually have some steering, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have any drive from that one. We shall pull it out of the weeds to see what the kind of level of damage is on this car. I'm going to try careful a little bit and not break it more. I mean, it's not exactly like it's in great nick to begin with here. Come on. Oh, that was a bumper. Bumpers aren't really all that important in the car. I've got it set to quite strong pull force to try and get it free here. Yeah, but the bumpers don't really care about... Shall be honest, I'm not thinking this is going to work. Yeah, sadly, too many drive shafts gone. There is no power going to any of the wheels. I thought I'd drag it out just in case, because it was sort of beach. Even if one of the wheels worked, I think that's so low to the ground, it wouldn't matter. Okay, I mean, that It kind of did the whole land on the side. It really needs to be it needs to be really on the corner. If it lands dead on the side, I think the cars just lose their wheels. So you kind of want it to almost go nose first in a corner if it's going to go for that way. If you can't get it to land on the back of the back of the car, you do a lot of damage to the engine. Or back of the driveline. Sorry. Can we? Oh, it lost the rear drive shaft, and I have a feeling this one here is rear-wheel drive. Rather than one of the all-wheel drives. Now the car is... Oh, the car is quite pancaked. The car is quite on the point. So I think I got actually set a little too high on the old strength. Come on then. Out we go. Yeah, I mean, there is a working wheel. My gearbox doesn't actually work very well. What? Completely pancaked. It's completely pancaked, the I-Series. That was closer to surviving. It was closer. Still not great. I'm going to say a stupid thing, but I always feel like crashing onto the dirt bank is safer than actually landing on the... Because it's something that can take some of the impact away from the car. Oh no, we're going to do... Oh, that was a good landing. It's very rare you say that about that sort of a crash. That might work. Now I'm going to turn the car off. That might be survivable, you know. It's lost one wheel at the front. One wheel is very broken. However, the other wheel looks like it's still functioning. Not well, but we don't need it to function well. We just need to function enough to drive the car through these next couple of corners. I think it's good enough. It's poorly. Well, both still steer. They actually both still work. Holy, not very well. Christ, it's almost as broken as the hopper that went down here the first time. That's really, really not happy. That's very poorly. That wheel's not along for this world. Can we limp our way? I was going to say I just have to make these two corners, but we've kind of now made it as a whole. Can we limp to the petrol station? And I'm fine with that. Yeah, the I-Series is not happy about this journey, it is safe to say. But... oh, come on. Come on. You can make this turn. This turn's a difficult one for them. A lot of cars have landed on the front left wheel. They seem to just roll that way rather than to the other side. That makes that turn difficult if you don't quite set it up right. I mean, it moves and drives and made a corner. I love, despite another car, it looked like this would never be able to survive that, but it got the hit on the corner. It got the hit on the corner, just sort of skidded, lost all the momentum. Technically didn't even take out a wheel in terms of steering. That's quite impressive. It's got to be only hanging on by a thread underneath there. The I-Series, that too, survives the ski jump. Now our next vehicle was a much requested one. The Pigeon is going to have a go down this jump, and I very much expect this to survive. We've seen some unusual results, things like the Covet still working, but hell, that I-Series, that I-Series shouldn't have worked. I really didn't think that one would. This, we know, is strong. We saw from Enduro Drone, we saw from Baja Rama. I've seen it fall off of a whole heap of things and somehow still work. So here, oh, that might be a problem though. Backflipping! Pretty good landing actually, if we don't lose the front wheel. Oh, there goes the drive. Oh dear, we lost we lost both the rear wheels. Okay. Problems. It's not so stable in the air. That's some big problems, really. I mean, the engine is technically working, and I do technically have steering. Although the front's so buckled, even if I didn't have lost the rear wheels, it wouldn't have worked anyway. That might be the issue that gets the Pigeon. It is tough, but if it flips so uncontrollably in the air, I don't actually know what I can do about that. If it's so unstable in the air, I might try grabbing the brake just so we leave the jump, see if I can keep the nose down. Last time we managed to soar through the air. I mean, it's kind of, I think, more the flipping and twisting. Well, actually, it does start to like wander a little bit to the... Oh, okay, so we got the nose down a little bit better that time. Okay, that was a big hit at the start there. If we can just quell the rolling, please. That's good. That looks promising. In fact, I think it's going to drive itself out. We've got to go down this banking because it's not really an off-road vehicle. And yeah, if we don't do the big backflip, I mean, I'd say that's no problem. I'd say that's... I mean, it's more drivable than the I-Series was. In fact, it's still good for 60 miles an hour. Not as good as the police car, as the Bolide. There we go. Not as good as that in terms of drivability. This does pull quite badly to the left-hand side, but I mean, it worked. It worked. Oh, it doesn't really... It's not so happy with the steering sometimes. I think it depends on where the wheel is positioned. And there we go. It's in. That's also another vehicle that has survived. I do want to have one more test with this car, though. I am kind of curious to see whether... I don't... So that time I very much just grabbed the brake and it stopped the wacky out-of-control flip. Now, I wonder if it was the brake that did the wacky out-of-control... Well, whether... Yeah, me going on the brake stopped that, so I'm not going to touch the brake this time. I'm going to let it go do its thing. I'm going back down this path here, which is where I did go. Yeah, so the brakes actually kind of saved it. If you don't, you just do a backflip. If you don't spiral off towards that side, you might be okay. I think it might be possibly okay from that. It's buckled a lot because it hit the wall more than anything. Yeah, we don't have any steering anymore. However, it did survive. It survived on a second attempt. A little bit of control from me is what it takes to get the Pigeon to survive the ski jump. Right, let's go back for some more classic American machinery. The Moonhawk is going to have a go. Now, I'm using this as opposed to the Barstow, because the Barstow's drive shaft is made of glass. This might possibly survive, although that fuel tank at the back is quite susceptible to damage. It really is a drive shaft in these that's the biggest concern. I think if we hit on the front, we might take out a wheel, but unlikely to snap off both. No, I say no guarantee we'll only take off one wheel, but yeah, these seem to be more likely to take off just one wheel and can still drive. It's the concern about the... Oh, that's actually quite a big... ooh, hit on the front. There goes the drive shaft. Yeah, we've got to try and survive. We've got to try and not have that impact. In fact, the gearbox... It's going to go back to... Oh, driver. The gearbox has punctured its way through the dashboard. That's definitely not the angle. Okay, this car flies quite straight. However, in some ways, that's actually part of the problem. We seem to have learned that the trick with this is to not actually land flat, because these cars are going to be going too quickly to have a completely smooth landing on the landing zone. Funnily enough, half the challenge here, we cannot actually get the vehicle to land entirely flat because that will just break things. So let's go for a twist. We're going to go for a roll. I mean, this is the most FailRace thing imaginable. That is actually spot on. Although, don't go careering into the wall. That's the concern with that. Okay, engine's off. I think we've lost a steering wheel at the front. One of the front steering wheel at the front. One of the wheels at the front, I don't think is working anymore, which is fine in as far as we only need one probably to steer us out of this. It is stuck upside down, and it is a little bit impaled in the sand. Whoop! Just skim you along there, and then we shall lift you over. It's going to be quite a pancaked car. Come on, can we get over? There we go. It is quite... I think the steering wheel is almost the highest point in the vehicle here. Will it fire back up? Yep. Will it turn? Yes, it does. It does not care. It does not care. We're just making flatmobiles now. I did not necessarily expect there to be as much in-air control as we do have here. In fact, this also drives pretty well in a straight line. I've not really got too many complaints about the steering on this. It pulls ever so slightly to the left, but whoop, nothing crazy. That crash there might have actually done more damage than the bloody jump. Nope, it's still good. We can still do... Can we do... Oh, maybe not that angle. I think the crash on the curbs actually bent the chassis even more than it was already. It is quite low at the front. And that does get caught on some stuff and does sometimes make it a little difficult to steer. However, Yeah, actually, the crash on the curb has, I think, made it worse because it's pushed something in that wasn't pushed in before. That was my bad. I was messing around with the acceleration of the car. So, Moonhawk gets a little stuck on curbs, but that too will survive the jump. Well, so far, just about everything's making it. So, what about the Piccolina, the tiny little, what is it, Fiat to Bath kind of style vehicle? I'm going for the Baja spec, because I'm hoping either we'll have funny crashes as it bounces around, but it's also perhaps more likely to survive because it's got the suspension to survive it, maybe? I don't know. Might be good, might be terrible. If I can get it to land on its roof, guess what? It'll probably survive. Because there's quite a lot of roof, quite a lot of sort of crash zone we can use up there. First one, I'm just going to go off the ramp normally and see what it does. That's actually not terrible for the landing. It's the steering that I might be in a little bit of trouble with here. It's a big hit on the front. Nope, that looks fine. It's crushed. I mean, yeah, the front right suspension has collapsed from that. That was, what, 130 mile an hour impact onto tarmac at what is not a good angle. And that was not a cheesed land on the roof, get away with it sort of a thing. The roof line is all intact. I mean, literally, from this angle here, outside of the fact the car's ever so slightly... What was that? Fire? Was that from me? Oh, I better start in the wrong gear. But, that's impressive. I did not expect that. I thought it would just shatter everything at the front when it hit the ground that hard when you're not trying to do anything clever. Sure, okay. Piccolino, no problems at all at finding its way down the ski jump and still be perfectly usable. Can probably even do some pretty good donuts. I mean, we didn't even take out any, like, nothing is technically broken on the car, really. Not according to the game's little damage indicator, anyway. Well, what the hell are we going to be using next? Now, I could have used an ETK. I could have used the K series. I think it was the 800 series I ran last time. I could have used one of them to see what might happen. Because, you know, let's face it, they're unlikely to survive. But instead, I opted for the more spectacular option. We're going to go for a bus. I suspect the drive shaft's going to go bang, and that won't work. But going to give it a try. I've suspected many vehicles so far to not work, so surely a bus could still throw up some surprises for us. We'll have to wait and see. If it flies arse down, we might be in trouble. Okay, yeah, arse down is bad. That's... Surprisingly, the engine is actually in one piece, despite the fact it's on fire and at a 90-degree angle, pretty much to where it was supposed to be. The engine is fine. We can't let it do that. I actually want to hit the front on the floor if I can make it do that. I'd want to hit the front because I've got so much overhang there that can take all of the brunt of the impact and not shatter the drive shaft. We can't have a 90-degree... Can't have the back of the bus at 90 degrees to the front. That's just not going to work. So we're going to have to go... We're going to go for the age-old. Slam on the brakes just as we leave the jump. Steer if we can. And just maybe steer just a fraction before we leave the jump. Just to try and get it twisted. Just try and get it, like, rolling. Oh, that's... no, this might be good. This might actually be quite good. If we can... Oh, it's not good. Everything fell apart. Everything... No, it wasn't good. It really wasn't good. Too much... Wow, too much force went on in that. It is safe to say... Oh, that's... Where are you going, Wheel? Where... Wheel's gone. I mean, the twist was good. It definitely needs to be a lot more nose down, and I don't know if I can get the bus to do that. Yeah, I mean, the twist was... In fact, that's so unstable now. What's happened to the rear? We've managed to get a wheel in the middle. Wait, where's the engine gone? Has anybody, perchance, seen my engine? It was supposed to be at the back of the bus. It hasn't been shunted forward, has it? No, the engine has gone. Oh, there it is. Found the engine. Never mind, bus. If you could acquaint yourself with the engine. It's currently in a tree. Can I... Oh, can I... Wow, that is a heavy engine. Can I not drag that out? Come on. Gee, it's more difficult to move the engine than it is move the bus. Christ. Wow. Yeah, it's safe to say that didn't quite go according to plan. Right, what are we going to do? As I said, I think this could survive it if I could get it to go nose first, but I can't seem to do that. I don't know, going on the brakes is enough. I can do the whole chuck it off the thing, and might try to... No, I don't think twisting it the other way is going to help either way. Maybe just minorly steer it and then go on the brakes over here. No, 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 you're going to smack the engine to pieces again. I think there's just too much force going on with the bus. There is... The engine does once more survive, despite being at that angle, but there's no way the drive shaft survives that. It's one of those... Could it be survivable? I think yes, absolutely, it could be. However, to have that bus be able to survive the jump, a lot of things would have to go right, and you'd have to just keep going, and you might be able to get it. It might be one of those that you could ping it off the banking that I was kind of contemplating aiming. If you went off the ramp to the left as you were coming down it, basically the banking over there that we're kind of aimed at now, maybe if you hit that with the front quarter and just kind of suck it out some of the momentum, but I think it's always going to hit with such force. There's just so much energy going on in this when it's so heavy. You're traveling 130 towards the tarmac. I think it's always going to disintegrate. So yeah, the bus, that can't survive the jump. Everything else... surprisingly can. Shall we just run the bus once more, just because it's funny while we finish up the video? You know, we've got to have a little bit of madness. Thank you all very much for watching this video. If you'd like to download the map that we're playing on, this is the Alps map for Beam. I shall leave a link for it in the description of this video. Here we go. Can I get the bus to twist? We're going for a clever... Oh no! Oh no! Oh dear! That's got a little bit too high over the mountain! That is the perfect ending, I think, to a video. We're done. We are very much done. We have made a monument to buskind. That's not surviving the jump up there, is it? That's not survived the jump, it's safe to say. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, goodbye.